I left the business in 1984. I sold my interest at that point. I was involved in politics, but I always loved business at the same time. And I started a new company in 1990, and that was Checkerboard. Micah came in around the end of 1992. I was very busy in politics. I was a state senator at that point, and I made Micah an offer he couldn't refuse, and he refused. It took me a month before I convinced him he was the right person to come into the business.
So I came back from California, and the situation was he was involved in politics. So typically in a family business, you've got somebody who's having a hard time letting go, the last generation, and the new generation saying, give me some space. It was just the opposite. So he left me here. He said, you make all the decisions. That was our deal. And then he would leave, and I would have huge things that I'd never seen before. So the dynamic was I was running after him saying, wait, don't leave yet. I have a question, which really created a good situation. So yes, complete freedom to do everything. In fact, it created the situation where I was begging him for information and really learned to respect his opinions.
And I think it's been the most wonderful relationship from beginning to end. There have been problems where there have been disagreements. But a deal was made with Micah when he came to the company. We put it down in the back of an envelope, you know, what the rules were going to be. He was going to be the boss. If he came in, the final decision was always going to be his. And we've honored that. Checkerboard is a manufacturer of fine social stationery. The biggest part of our business is printing wedding invitations. They're shipped all over the country, and they're now shipped in many parts of the world as well. The best order that I ever did, or the most prestigious order, was when I still owned Chase Paper Company. I printed all the inaugural invitations for Ronald Reagan.
You know, I get to work with my dad, but when I started here, my mother was working here, my father was working here. For a while, I convinced my sister to work here. My first cousin works here, my father-in-law worked here for a while, and I met my wife here. When you have your own business, it's your passion, it's your life, so I get to go home, keep talking about it, and she's okay with that, because it's her passion, too. I happen to like the size of this company. I've worked at big companies, I've worked at some smaller ones, but the size is great in that everybody gets to know what's going on. And in a family business, there's someone who really cares. So they're never stuck wondering, what do I do with something? It's open door policy all the way around. Now, I suppose that means they can go tell my dad on me. That could be a disadvantage. But for the most part, open door policy, everybody knows what's going on. In fact, at one point, we realized that about more than 50% of the population here is related to somebody else here. So they invite their family to work here. We encourage it. That's something you get in a family business that you don't get elsewhere.
That's up to Micah and his kids. You know, the purpose of a family business is not, or at least from my point of view, has not been to pass it along from generation to generation, but to use whatever we have in order to supply our kids with the opportunity to do what they want to do in life.